A cup of tea feels like the safest ritual in Britain. Warm, familiar, comforting. But what if that daily brew is quietly poisoning you? From pesticide-laced leaves grown on distant plantations to plastic particles seeping into every single sip, some of the most trusted names sitting on your kitchen shelf are hiding dangerous secrets they hope you never discover. Today, we are exposing 9 UK tea brands seniors must avoid at all costs, and 2 that are actually safe to drink. Coming in at number 9, we have got Typhoo. For decades, Typhoo promised that refreshing taste and quality British families trusted. The red box sat proudly in millions of cupboards, a fixture of kitchen shelves from Cornwall to Aberdeen. Your grandmother probably drank it, your mother probably served it. The brand carries weight, history, and an implicit promise of safety. But behind the cheerful branding lies a troubling reality that most consumers never discover. Independent laboratory testing has repeatedly flagged Typhoo products for elevated pesticide residues. We are talking about chemicals sprayed on tea plantations thousands of miles away. Chemicals that do not simply vanish when you pour boiling water over that bag. These are agricultural compounds designed to kill insects and fungi. They linger on leaves through harvesting, processing, packaging, and shipping. Then they end up in your cup. For seniors, this is not just an abstract concern. Pesticide exposure, even at low levels over time, has been linked to neurological damage, hormonal disruption, and increased strain on the liver and kidneys. According to research published in environmental health journals, chronic low-dose exposure may accelerate cognitive decline in older adults. If you are already on blood pressure medication or managing kidney function, your body is working overtime to filter toxins. Adding daily pesticide exposure from your morning cuppa is the last thing you need. Your organs deserve a rest, not additional chemical stress. And here is the betrayal. Typhoo markets itself as a wholesome, it's a traditional British brand. The packaging evokes heritage, warmth, family gatherings, and cozy afternoons by the fire. Yet the supply chain tells a different story. Mass production, aggressive cost-cutting, and sourcing from regions with lax pesticide regulations. The tea travels thousands of miles from plantations where worker safety and environmental standards often fall far below UK expectations. You trusted the name did not protect you. The tea itself often tastes flat, stale, almost papery when you lift the bag from the cup. That is not just disappointing flavour. That is a sign of leaves sitting too long in warehouses, oxidising in transit, losing whatever antioxidant benefits tea once promised. Fresh tea should smell bright and inviting when you poop in the box. Typhoo often smells like cardboard and dust. You are drinking the ghost of what tea should be, paying for a name rather than quality. At number 8, we have Lipton Yellow Label. Lipton is everywhere. Supermarket shelves, hotel rooms, workplace kitchens, hospital waiting areas. The bright yellow packaging screams familiarity and accessibility. You have seen it 1,000 times. You have probably drunk it without thinking. But familiarity does not mean safety, and ubiquity does not mean quality. Lipton has faced repeated scrutiny over pesticide contamination that should concern every consumer. A Greenpeace investigation found multiple pesticide residues in Lipton tea samples, including chemicals banned or restricted in several countries. Some of these substances are classified by international health bodies as possible carcinogens. The investigation tested products purchased from ordinary shops, the same bags you might pick up on your weekly grocery run. The results were alarming enough to generate international headlines, yet Lipton products remain on every shelf without warning labels or consumer alerts. Think about that for a moment. You boil the kettle, pour water over that innocent-looking bag, and invisible chemicals leach into your cup. You cannot see them floating in the amber liquid. You cannot taste them hiding beneath the familiar bitterness. But your body absorbs them, sip after sip, day after day, year after year. The exposure accumulates silently while you believe you're enjoying something they are harmless. For seniors managing chronic conditions, this accumulation matters enormously. Your liver and kidneys are already working hard to process medications and filter metabolic waste. Adding a daily dose of agricultural chemicals creates silent stress on organs that cannot recover the way they did at 30. The NHS warns about drug interactions, but nobody warns you about tea and medication interactions. If you're on heart medication, certain pesticides can interfere with how your body processes those drugs. The interaction is unpredictable, unmonitored, and entirely avoidable if you choose better brands. Lipton promises a rich, full flavour on its packaging. What you often get is a thin, bitter brew that needs sugar or milk to mask its harshness. That aggressive bitterness is not boldness. It is poor quality leaves, dust and fanning swept from factory floors, packaged in massive quantities and sold to people who deserve better. The tea industry calls these remnants the lowest grade. Lipton calls them their product. Why is it that billion-dollar tea companies keep sourcing from suppliers with contamination issues, yet their products fill every supermarket aisle without question? Now, at number 7, PG Tips. PG Tips is practically a national institution. The pyramid bags, the memorable television adverts with chimpanzees, and now animated characters, the promise of that perfect brew that brings the family together. For generations, PG Tips has occupied a special place in British culture, but strip away the nostalgia and examine what you're actually drinking. The reality is less comforting than the marketing suggests. PG Tips. Tea bags have historically been made with polypropylene, a plastic polymer used to seal the bags and help them keep their distinctive pyramid shape. When you pour boiling water over plastic, things happen at a molecular level. Microplastics leach into your tea. These tiny fragments are invisible to the naked eye, but measurable by laboratory equipment. A study from McGill University found that a single plastic tea bag steeped in hot water releases approximately 11.6 billion microplastic particles into the cup. Billion, not thousand, not million, billion. Those particles are so small they can cross cell membranes, enter your bloodstream, and accumulate in organs including your brain, heart, and lungs. Scientists are only beginning to understand what this means for human health, but early research suggests inflammation and cellular damage. For seniors, this is genuinely frightening. Microplastic accumulation has been linked to inflammation, cellular damage, and potential disruption of the immune system. If you are managing arthritis, your body is already fighting inflammation. If you have cardiovascular disease, your heart does not need additional stress. If you have autoimmune conditions, your immune system is already confused. Adding microscopic plastic fragments to your internal environment is reckless, especially when alternatives exist. PG Tips has made noise about transitioning to plant-based bags, issuing press releases and social media announcements about their sustainability journey, but implementation has been slow, inconsistent, and not all products in their range have switched. That green promise on the box does not guarantee the bag in your hand is plastic-free. You have to check every single time, examine packaging closely, and hope the product matches the promise. Most people do not have time for that level of vigilance. The taste itself has changed over the years. Long-time drinkers report a noticeable decline in quality, weaker colour, dustier flavour, less satisfying finish. The company denies any quality changes, but your taste buds do not lie. When the flavour fades and the aroma diminishes, it means the leaf quality has dropped. You are paying the same price, sometimes more, for demonstrably less. Most people never learn how to spot which bags are actually safe, but we will break it down at the very end of the video. Have you noticed the quality of your favourite tea declining over the years? Drop your brand in the comments below. Moving to number 6, Tetley. Tetley promises a smooth, quality brew with every cup. The round bags, the comforting blue packaging, generations of British trust built through decades of consistent marketing. Tetley has been making tea since 1837, nearly 2 centuries of history. But that historical trust has been tested by modern realities that the company prefers not to discuss publicly. Tetley, like PG Tips, has faced sustained criticism over plastic content in their tea bags. Independent laboratory analysis confirmed polypropylene presence in their bags, meaning every steep potentially delivers microplastics into your system. The company has made pledges about transitioning to different materials, but the timeline remains unclear and verification difficult. Without independent testing of products currently on shelves, consumers cannot know what they are actually getting, but the problems go deeper than plastic. Tetley sources tea from massive industrial plantations where pesticide use is standard practice across millions of acres. The company claims rigorous testing and quality control, issuing reassuring statements about safety standards. But third-party investigations have found residues that tell a different story. Traces of substances linked to hormone disruption and nervous system damage have appeared in independent samples. For seniors already navigating complex medication regimes with multiple prescriptions, adding unknown chemical variables is genuinely dangerous. And then there is the fluoride issue that almost nobody discusses. Tea plants naturally absorb fluoride from the soil and accumulate it in their leaves over time. Low-quality, older leaves, exactly the kind used in budget tea bags like Tetley, contain significantly higher fluoride levels than young, premium leaves. Research from medical journals indicates that excessive fluoride intake has been linked to skeletal fluorosis, a painful condition causing joint stiffness, bone damage, and reduced mobility. Seniors with existing bone density concerns, osteoporosis or arthritis, face elevated risk from daily fluoride accumulation. Tetley does not advertise the fluoride content anywhere on their packaging. They do not warn you that drinking 4, 5, or 6 cups daily could push your intake into problematic territory. The box shows a sunny plantation and smiling workers. It does not show the chemical reality of industrial tea production or the health implications for loyal customers. The brew itself often tastes thin and disappointing, requiring longer steeping to achieve any meaningful colour or flavour. But longer steeping only extracts more fluoride and more tannins, leaving a harsh, astringent finish that dries your mouth and coats your teeth. You cannot win. Either the tea tastes weak or it tastes harsh. Quality was sacrificed long ago for production volume. Number 5 brings us to Twinings English Breakfast. Twinings carries prestige that few tea brands can match, the royal warrant displayed proudly on packaging. The heritage dating back to 1706, over 3 centuries of history, the elegant packaging suggesting refinement, sophistication, and quality that justifies premium pricing. Surely a brand this established, this revered, this connected to British royalty would never compromise your health. Unfortunately, prestige does not equal purity. Consumer testing has revealed pesticide residues in Twinings products that should concern health-conscious buyers. These are not obscure fringe laboratory tests from unreliable sources. These are independent laboratories examining what millions of Britons drink daily using rigorous scientific methodologies. The residues detected include substances restricted in the European Union due to documented health concerns. Post-Brexit, Britain has loosened some import rules, and tea sourced from regions with aggressive pesticide use flows in without the scrutiny it once faced under EU regulations. For seniors, the betrayal stings deeper because Twinings markets itself explicitly as a premium choice worthy of higher prices. You pay significantly more per bag, expecting better quality, safer sourcing, and more rigorous standards. Instead, you get the same supply chain issues affecting cheaper brands, dressed in fancier packaging with historical marketing. The brand trades on centuries of history while potentially compromising your health today. That royal warrant does not protect your kidneys. The tea bags themselves raise additional concerns. While Twinings has made public pledges about sustainability and plastic reduction, issuing corporate responsibility reports and press releases, the reality in your kitchen drawer may not match the public relations. Some bags still contain plastic elements. Heat activates chemical migration from packaging materials. Your morning Earl Grey might deliver more than bergamot flavour. It might deliver microplastics you never asked for. Do you think the government protects consumers or the companies selling them contaminated products? Long-time Twinings drinkers have noticed changes in recent years. Lighter colour in the cup. Weaker flavour requiring longer steeping. Less aroma when you open the box. That fresh, brisk scent that once greeted you has faded noticeably. What you smell now is cardboard and disappointment. The quality decline tracks directly with cost-cutting measures and supply chain consolidation as the company prioritizes profit margins over your taste experience. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free and it means you will never miss these exposés. At number 4, Yorkshire tea, and honestly, this one hurts. Yorkshire tea has built a brand identity around authenticity, regional pride, and proper brewing done right. The distinctive red box, the no-nonsense northern messaging, the implicit promise that this is tea for people who actually care about tea. Millions of loyal drinkers swear by it, defending the brand passionately in online discussions. Yorkshire tea has cultivated a devoted following that treats any criticism as personal insult. And yet, Yorkshire tea has problems it does not want you to think about. First, consider the tea bags themselves. Yorkshire Tea has publicly transitioned many products to plant-based materials, receiving positive press coverage and social media praise. But the transition is not complete across all product lines. An older stock with plastic-containing bags still circulates through supply chains and sits on shop shelves. Unless you are checking every purchase carefully, examining packaging details and manufacturing dates, you might be drinking microplastics while believing you chose a responsible brand. The gap between marketing and reality remains significant. Second, the sourcing presents ongoing concerns. Yorkshire Tea blends leaves from multiple origins across different continents, including regions where pesticide regulations differ dramatically from UK standards. The company conducts internal testing and publishes reassuring statements, but independent analyses have occasionally flagged residues that should concern health-conscious consumers. The brand response is always confident reassurance. Trust us, our standards are high, but trust should be earned through transparency, detailed reporting, and independent verification, not marketing slogans. For seniors with kidney issues, accumulating trace pesticides creates additional filtration burden on organs already working hard. For those on blood thinners or cardiac medications, unknown chemical interactions remain a genuine worry that doctors cannot address. Your GP cannot account for what they do not know you are ingesting. They adjust your medication dosages based on assumptions about your diet and exposure. Hidden pesticides in tea represent an uncontrolled variable in your healthcare. The taste, admittedly, remains more robust than many competitors. Yorkshire Tea delivers strength, colour and body that remind you what proper tea should taste like. But that consistency comes from sophisticated blending strategies designed to mask inconsistency in underlying leaf quality. When one source underperforms, another compensates mathematically. You get reliability of experience, not reliability of purity. The cup always tastes similar because the blending hides variations you would otherwise notice. Stick around. The solution is coming at the very end, and it could change how you brew forever. Were you shocked to see Yorkshire Tea on this list? Let us know your reaction in the comments. Number 3 is Clipper Organic English Breakfast, and this is where the betrayal cuts deepest. Clipper markets itself aggressively as the ethical choice for conscious consumers. Organic certification prominently displayed, fair trade partnerships highlighted, unbleached bags emphasized, environmentally conscious messaging throughout. You pay a significant premium expecting purity, expecting that the organic certification means genuine safety, expecting that ethical marketing reflects ethical sourcing. But organic does not mean perfect. And Clipper has faced its own troubling revelations that challenge the brand narrative. Organic certification limits synthetic pesticide use through regulatory requirements, but it does not eliminate all contamination risks. Cross-contamination from neighbouring conventional farms can affect organic fields. Historic soil pollution from decades of previous chemical use persists in groundwater. Natural toxins from plants and fungi occur regardless of farming methods. Independent testing has found that some organic teas, including premium-priced brands positioned as healthy alternatives, contain concerning levels of heavy metal traces: lead, cadmium, arsenic. These are not added ingredients. They are absorbed from soil and water during cultivation, and no amount of organic certification prevents that absorption. For seniors, heavy metals are particularly dangerous because your body lacks the resilience of youth. Lead accumulation damages the nervous system and kidneys progressively over time. Cadmium specifically attacks bone density and kidney function, making it especially concerning for older adults already managing these health areas. Arsenic, even in trace amounts consumed regularly over years, increases cancer risk and cardiovascular strain according to published medical research. Your body stores these metals in tissues and bones. They do not flush out easily through normal metabolic processes. Every cup adds incrementally to the lifetime burden your organs must carry. Clipper has faced consumer complaints about inconsistent flavour that suggest quality control problems. Some batches taste vibrant and fresh, delivering the experience you expect from premium pricing. Others arrive noticeably stale, dusty and disappointing, tasting no better than budget alternatives. Quality control seems variable despite the premium price point and ethical positioning. You expect organic to mean careful, artisanal attention to every detail. What you sometimes get is industrial organic, mass production at scale, wearing a green marketing label. The tea bags themselves are marketed as unbleached and plastic-free, which represents genuinely good news, relatively speaking. But the contents of those conscientiously designed bags still carry risks the cheerful packaging never mentions. You open the box expecting purity based on everything the brand promises. You might be pouring heavy metals into your favourite mug while feeling virtuous about your organic choice. Our number 2 spot goes to Taylor's of Harrogate. Taylor's of Harrogate positions itself alongside Yorkshire Tea in the premium British market segment, competing for discerning customers willing to pay more for quality, elegant packaging design, prominent references to expertise and tradition, the suggestion of careful curation by knowledgeable tea masters. The branding evokes Yorkshire heritage, specialist knowledge, and quality worth the higher price tag. But premium branding and sophisticated marketing do not guarantee premium safety for your health. Consumer advocacy groups and independent researchers have raised persistent questions about pesticide residues in Taylor's products, while the company maintains publicly that all teas meet current regulatory standards and pass internal quality testing. The crucial question is whether those regulatory standards are actually strict enough to protect health. UK pesticide limits were harmonised with EU rules before Brexit. Post-Brexit, Britain can set its own thresholds independently, potentially allowing substances restricted elsewhere in Europe based on emerging health research. For seniors concerned about cumulative exposure over decades of tea drinking, regulatory compliance offers cold comfort. A chemical might be technically legal at certain levels while still contributing meaningfully to long-term health degradation. Your liver does not care whether an exposure limit was set by bureaucrats following political negotiations. It simply processes whatever arrives, struggling progressively more as you age and your metabolic efficiency declines naturally. Taylor's also uses tea bags that have faced scrutiny over plastic content from environmental and health researchers. The company has made sustainability commitments in annual reports and press statements, but practical implementation varies significantly by product line. That specialty blend you particularly love might still come in bags sealed with polypropylene plastic. Boiling water does not discriminate between premium and budget products. If plastic is present in the bag material, plastic particles will leach into your cup regardless of the price you paid. The flavour profiles Taylor's offers are genuinely diverse and interesting, representing real expertise in blending. The problem with this brand is not taste. The problem is trust. You expect expertise and premium pricing to mean vigilance about safety, higher sourcing standards, and better protection for loyal customers. Instead, you get marketing sophistication covering the same supply chain compromises affecting significantly cheaper brands. Is it not strange how brands charging premium prices still source from the same contaminated supply chains as budget competitors? The worst brand out is next, and the reason it tops this list will make you check your cupboard immediately. At the top of our avoid list sits Sainsbury's own brand Red Label tea. It is cheap, widely available on every Sainsbury's shelf across the country, and utterly unremarkable in the worst possible way. Budget supermarket tea represents everything problematic about industrialised tea production, packaged attractively and sold by the million to people who deserve transparency instead of false economy. The low price feels like a bargain. The hidden health costs suggest otherwise. Sainsbury's Red Label sources from the same mass-market global supply chains feeding other budget brands, pesticide residues from industrial farming operations, heavy metal contamination risks from polluted soils, questionable processing standards in facilities prioritizing volume over quality. You get what remains after premium buyers take the best leaves for higher-priced products: dust, fannings, broken fragments swept into bags and sold by the hundred to price-conscious shoppers. The tea bags themselves have historically contained plastic sealing materials. Sainsbury's has made corporate pledges about transitioning to plant-based options as part of broader sustainability initiatives, but budget product lines typically lag behind in implementing such improvements. Cost savings drive every formulation decision for store-brand products. Your long-term health ranks somewhere below quarterly profit margins in the corporate priority list. For seniors, drinking multiple cups daily of budget tea means multiplied exposure to every single risk we have discussed throughout this video. Microplastics accumulating gradually in tissues and organs, pesticide residues burdening liver and kidneys with filtration demands, fluoride levels creeping steadily toward problematic thresholds, heavy metals settling permanently into bones and soft organs. None of this appears on the price tag displayed on the shelf. You pay pennies per cup at the checkout and potentially pay with your health years later. The taste confirms the quality problems immediately. Thin, bitter, harsh without milk to mask the astringency, virtually flavourless with it. That brown liquid sitting in your mug bears little resemblance to what tea can and should be when made from quality leaves. The aroma is absent when you lift the cup. The warmth feels hollow rather than comforting. You are essentially drinking industrial residue marketed as comfort, paying for convenience rather than quality. A study by the Pesticide Action Network found that conventional tea is one of the most pesticide-intensive crops grown globally. Some samples from various brands contained over 20 different pesticide residues simultaneously in a single bag. 20 distinct chemicals mingling together in your morning cup, each individually legal at detected levels. Cumulatively, the health effects remain essentially unknown because nobody tests for complex chemical interactions. Why are seniors specifically targeted with cheap, comforting products that hide sky-high contamination risks behind low prices and nostalgic heritage branding? What is the worst cup of tea you have ever had? Tell us about it in the comments. The first actual safe option is Pukka Organic Tea. Pukka represents what tea genuinely should be in an ideal world. Certified organic through rigorous independent verification, meaning strict enforceable limits on synthetic pesticide use throughout their entire supply chain from farm to factory. Ethically sourced through genuine fair trade partnerships that benefit farming communities and ensure workers receive proper treatment. Tea bags made entirely from plant-based materials without any plastic components whatsoever, fully biodegradable and demonstrably safe when heated with boiling water. Every blend is carefully crafted using whole herbs and quality leaves, not the dust and fannings filling budget bags from industrial suppliers. Pukka invests meaningfully in testing and transparency that goes significantly beyond regulatory minimums. Heavy metal screening on all incoming materials, pesticide residue analysis at multiple supply chain stages, quality control protocols that genuinely match their premium market positioning rather than just marketing claims. For seniors concerned about what enters their bodies with every cup, Pukka delivers genuine peace of mind backed by verifiable data you can actually trust. The flavour is vibrant, aromatic, and alive in a way that industrial commodity tea simply cannot match, regardless of sophisticated blending expertise. You open a box of Pukka and immediately smell actual tea. Real herbs with distinctive character, genuine botanicals that announce themselves, authentic freshness rather than stale cardboard and warehouse dust. Your cup delivers rich colour, satisfying depth, and genuine pleasure without requiring added sugar or excessive steeping time. This is what your daily ritual genuinely deserves after decades of settling for less. The second recommendation is Teapigs Everyday Brew. Teapigs fundamentally rejects the conventional tea bag compromise that has systematically degraded quality across the entire industry for decades. Instead of dust packed into paper pouches sealed with plastic, Teapigs uses whole visible leaves in biodegradable, completely plastic-free mesh temples. You can actually see what you are brewing before it enters your cup. No mystery fragments of unknown origin, no industrial sweepings repackaged as premium tea. Actual recognizable tea leaves that unfurl gracefully and release genuine complex flavor as they steep properly. Teapigs maintains rigorous sourcing standards throughout their entire supply chain, prioritizing specific estates with documented strong environmental and safety records. Heavy metal testing and pesticide screening form fundamental parts of their quality assurance program, not afterthoughts or hollow marketing claims. For seniors genuinely worried about cumulative chemical exposure from decades of daily tea drinking, Teapigs offers a cleaner, safer, verifiable alternative without sacrificing the robust taste British tea drinkers rightfully expect from their daily cuppa. The Everyday Brew specifically delivers strength and body directly comparable to traditional British favourites like the brands your parents drank, but entirely without the hidden health costs we have exposed today. Your kidneys, liver and cardiovascular system face one fewer source of daily chemical stress. Your taste buds enjoy a noticeably fuller, more satisfying experience with every cup. This is the tea you probably remember from decades ago. before industrial cost-cutting systematically hollowed out what should be simple, everyday pleasure. Your daily cup of tea should bring genuine comfort, not hidden health risks accumulating silently over years and decades. The ritual that starts your morning deserves better than industrial shortcuts and contaminated supply chains. Now you know which brands to clear from your cupboard immediately and which ones actually deserve your trust and your hard-earned money. Make the switch today. Your health depends on the choices you make tomorrow morning. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again. Tap your